everybody. Welcome back to the Geriatric Millennials. I'm Beth.
And I'm Jayme.
And we're just two oldish, youngish ladies catching up.
Yeah.
We had a little breaky break. We came back last week just to recap Vanderpump because that's what's really important.
Because priorities.
But we're like, we need to actually catch up in life.
Well, I know because some things happened.
Yeah,
in my life.
You had lots of big things. I actually had a lot happen too, but they were very trivial. But they were all like the rock in your shoe that you can't get out and it's driving you crazy, or the popcorn kernel stuck in a tooth. Where you're just digging at it and you're like, this is,
and then your gum starts bleeding and you're like, but it's still there.
It's still there.
You're like, I have to find floss.
Yeah.
You need floss.
It's that. But
if you don't have access to floss in that moment,
so that
is no good.
So those are my problems. They're annoying, but not come on. Just instead of sitting on the couch, just digging at with your tongue, go to the bathroom. You're like, no, I don't want to get up. Anyway, well, you started off because you were taking a little vacay.
Yeah. So it was spring break. I mean, this is going all the way back.
Yeah.
To spring break.
Mm-hmm.
And we had a family vacation, which was awesome. So we went to Belize, which is where my family lives, my parents and some of my family, which actually there's a large concentration of my family in this area now because my family's all spread out.
Yeah.
And so I have several family members that live in Belize now. So that's kind of cool. Yeah. So anyhow, we went down to spend time with them, and my parents have recently put in a pickleball court.
Oh, okay.
So that was a very large part of how we spent our days. Specifically in the morning before it got too hot. It's a very hot time of year in Belize.
What temperature are we at? And is it muggy?
It's very muggy. I don't know. I don't look at the temperature. Probably 100.
Okay.
With humidity.
High humidity.
I mean,
okay.
So it's basically it's hot you sit and sweat is rolling down the back of your legs or your shirt. Because we did sit on the first, was it the first day? Well, no, it wasn't. But anyways, I was sitting at a chair at a restaurant and had lunch. It was an outdoor patio situation and there was a fan blowing on us. But when I stood up, the seat was visibly wet.
Oh, jeez.
From sweat. So it's hot. It's hot. And I'm not complaining because I actually really like hot temperatures.
You love the heat.
So it was great. So yeah, anyways, we played pickleball. We had good family time hanging out with my parents. And then my little family left their place and we went to an island for a couple days. And we went snorkeling at the reef, and we saw nurse sharks and stingrays and eagle rays and tons of colorful fish. And it was an amazing
snorkel. I just want to say, you're when you talk about traveling, because you travel a lot, in my opinion, it always makes me giggle because I know you in your real life. But when you talk about it, it sounds like you're such a jet setter. So we were on our private island and I know that's not the reality, but it just sounds like, we were here. We were in this tropical place and then we lived here and blah. It's just always okay.
That's so funny. Well, we were not on a private island. In fact, we were on an island that was very congested and so much more congested than the last time I was on this island, which was probably 25 years ago. And so, sorry, you are distracting me with all of your yawning because you cannot stop yawning.
It's because I had carbs.
I think you've yawned 5 times.
I'm so sorry. It's because I
can't look at you because you're going to make me yawn.
I'm so sorry. Here's the thing though, is that when I'm around people that I'm comfortable with and I feel quote unquote safe around,
you could just relax.
My body's starting to relax. So my body's it's been a long day. You're with a safe friend.
Yes, you are. It's
not
true.
Off.
I mean, I actually did that once while we were
recording and Jayme fell asleep. I am telling
this is ridiculous.
This story, and I don't remember what story it was. It felt important, but guess not. And I look over and Jayme is completely nodded.
I literally fell asleep. I feel so bad. That's never happened to me. I have never done that before. I've never done that before. I've been afraid that I would do that when I was driving, which I haven't done, thank the Lord. But literally talking to a person, it must have been the same kind of situation. I was safe. My body was still. It must have been a somewhat lengthy story.
Rude. Yeah, it was.
I mean, it was probably only 2 or 3 seconds that I fell asleep.
No.
Yes, it was.
It was like enough to where I paused and was like, do I just keep going?
And I was so embarrassed and so apologetic because seriously, who does that?
Well,
I don't
we
have
had to stop and get you a
narcolepsy.
candy.
I do not.
Do you remember that?
Yes. I was like, please, can I have
some sugar?
Some sugar. Oh, that was a side note.
It doesn't help that I literally right before you came, I had dinner and I had a big thing of pasta.
Oh.
And so my body's just like, we have warm carbs in us.
Yes.
It is, to be honest, it's 7 o'clock.
Are you okay? Do you have multiple personalities?
What do you mean?
You're like, we have carbs in us.
Listen, my gut and I are in it to win it. So yes, there's 2 of us in me. Yeah.
That's so funny.
Anyway.
Okay.
So like you're looking at the reefs.
Okay,
you're
yes, back to what I was saying.
Yes.
Back off of that little tangent. Yes. But if I yawn while I'm telling the story, that's why.
It's why.
Because I feel like yawns can be contagious. Okay. Anyways, we went snorkeling and then we swam with the sharks, although my daughter didn't really want to swim with them, and that was fine.
Yeah.
I stayed on the boat with her. We were right next to them. So they were putting bait for the sharks to attract them.
Yeah.
And there's just all of these sharks swarming all over. And then my children, my boys and my husband are out there with snorkeling, right there.
That's terrifying.
Watching them. It was a little, I didn't blame I wasn't sad that my daughter didn't want to get in. I was like, it's fine. It's fine.
Cool.
She was cold. So
yeah,
we stayed on the boat, and I've actually swum with them in the past, but it's been a long time. And I just didn't feel like an urge to get in the water.
No, thank you.
And I had already seen some because we had a couple of stops on this little snorkel trip. But anyhow, it was a really fun time. So this island, what I was going to say was that this island is just packed now. It's a very small island, but it is so packed. We were staying at a nice place, but it was right in the heart of the town. And so it didn't have that serene feel of like peace, calm, like island chill,
it's like a tourist
chill vibes.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Yeah. And so if we ever do it again or whatever, I think I would, well, not if we do it again, but I would prefer to stay at a private resort that has more space around it, but those just cost a lot more money. Yeah. They just do because you're paying for all of that. So anyways, we enjoyed it. It was lovely. So we had taken a water taxi to get there.
Okay.
From the mainland because it's on an island. And so I had a return ticket on the water taxi. And then my boys were all departing from that day. They were departing from Belize. They were coming home.
Oh, okay.
And I was staying another week with my daughter.
Okay.
To just enjoy more time with my parents. And so it just so happens, though, that water taxi decided to not run on that day.
Oh.
And we had tickets for the water taxi back to
but they're just like,
they're just like, no, we're not going today.
Okay, cool.
And so we had to figure out what we were going to do. And so we ended up actually taking a little flight.
Oh, you had to take a little puddle jumper.
Flight, yeah. Which my boys were already on. And so we got on the same little flight, and it was just like 10 minutes to the mainland, to the airport. And so that was actually a really cool experience because you don't go very high up, and then you can see everything, like just you're just right from there. The air, like from I don't know. It was cool. But we were at the very back of the plane, and it was very shaky and wobbly. It was a 12-seater.
Oh, you went private. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, not really, but
yeah, it was.
We're going to call it that because we're just on brand now.
I can see why it sounds like what you were saying. Now that
we're on our 12-seater flight. I mean, and we had to share with like 2 other people, but it's fine.
No, it was actually packed. It was full. So anyways, my boys came home to Belize, and then I stayed with my daughter for an additional week. And that week looked very different than I originally thought. And that's why I've been gone and why I ended up staying and being gone a lot longer than I had originally planned, because my dad's health was kind of declining. We weren't sure what was wrong. And when we got back, my daughter and I, when we got back, we did some testing with him and just found out he basically needed an emergency blood transfusion.
Terrifying.
Like, it was terrifying. It was a crisis. It was a total crisis. And so I just like leapt into action, and I left my daughter in Belize with other family members, and I went with my parents, and went and got him the medical care that he needed, ended up going to Mexico for further testing, and then ended up having surgery there in like a town that was even further away, and just extended that time indefinitely because there was a lot going on. And like my siblings all came down because it was definitely a serious crisis, health crisis. And there was a lot to process within that. And so many unknowns, so many risks, so many things that we just weren't sure what was going to happen. And so I was like, I will be home when I can.
I know.
And I texted you. I texted Beth and I was like, well, I'm not going to be able to record with you this week.
I had messaged you because like I'm in this whole new place of like, let's try new things. And so I saw things for goat yoga. And I'm like, who might do this with? I'm like, oh, maybe Jayme. I'm like, hey, I think you might be home by Saturday. You want to go to goat yoga with me? She's like, oh, I would love to. However, and then you blawed everything that was going on. I'm like, dang, girl.
Yeah,
and
I was like, I'd love to. However, I'm like,
here's like 2 pages.
In a medical like emergency situation. And I'm in Mexico indefinitely. Yeah. And I don't think I'm going to be back in time.
Yeah. She's like, I don't think I'll be back, but maybe next time. I'm like, Jayme.
Did you end up going to that, by the way?
No, they canceled it because of weather.
Oh.
So they're going to do it again.
So what made you, like, how did you even hear about this? And what made you want to choose that? Because of all the things, Beth, of all the options,
first of all,
for activities, including outdoor activities, I was not expecting an invitation from you to do goat yoga.
First of all, they're little tiny pygmy cute goats.
Of course.
So they're adorable. It's from a local winery puts on different events. And so I gone to a cookie event by Marla's Cookies, who I love. And
shout out to Marla.
Shout out to Marla. We love you, girl. But I got on their Instagram. So I was looking at their events that popped up and oh, goat yoga. And I'm like, Beth, you need to be out there in the world.
Yeah.
What's better to be in the world than getting a little fitness on, going in the morning and stretching and then playing with goats. That sounds like a story.
What about drinking wine? Is there wine involved? It's at a winery.
I don't know if there was wine involved. I just was more, I'm not a wine drinker, so I was just really there for the goats. My fantasy is to own a goat one day that mows my lawn.
Why did I not know that? Why did I not know this?
Well, it's one of those fantasies that's probably a little bit, because I want to own a half an acre of land and have 2 chickens and a goat.
Is this a realistic fantasy?
I mean, it could be.
In terms of, is it really what you want?
I don't know, but in my head, it sounds like part of me wants to be able to live off the land. And by living off the land, I mean just
Are you going to milk the goat?
No. The goat's just going to mow the lawn because I don't want to do lawn care. I have not thought this out other than me and a cute pair of linen overalls, picking up chicken eggs and petting the goat and then coming inside and making an omelet and then hanging out with the cats. This might be me when I'm 57, you know,
yeah, I can see it.
Yeah. I don't know. I might go a little bit more.
What color are the linen overalls?
I'm picturing kind of a terracotta.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I'm wearing Birks and I have my hair with a little scarf and I'm just
I like this.
I'm just I'm a arty teacher / not hippie vibes, but someone that just is oh, that woman just is really sure of herself, that type of thing.
I love it.
Yeah. Anyway,
I love that. So the first step on that journey is going to goat yoga at a winery, apparently.
Yes, with a friend. Someone I love. Okay.
Well, I would love to do that.
Yeah.
So we will have to look at their events.
Yes, and maybe hit
sign
the goat
up for
yoga.
the next one.
Yes.
Also, it's really funny to me because I'm like, what do you even do? Do the goats walk on you?
I think there's only 2 goats. And so what happens is I think they just walk around the people. And when it comes to you kind of look at it, but you're really just doing yoga outside with strangers and a goat.
Okay.
I mean, it's totally ridiculous, but I'm here for it.
Well, I would like to know if there's wine involved. There has to be. It's at a winery.
I would think that maybe they give you a shot or something of wine. Hey, let's get relaxed.
You don't do wine in shots.
You can do a shot of anything.
You can, but that's...
I was encouraging people that didn't want to drink fully caffeinated coffee today at work at a 3:30 event. I'm like, just take a shot of it. You're fine. It's ridiculous.
Oh, that's so funny.
But you were literally gone forever. I'm just saying.
It felt like forever. I was gone for a month.
Yeah. And it was so awkward. So I'm the type of person, just to bring it back to me. I'm the type of person, when somebody's going through stuff, I like to just check in a little bit, but not too much, because I know when stuff goes down, sometimes it's overwhelming how many people are reaching out, and it can just be know. And so I was just like, I was like stalking, like your mom was posting stuff on Facebook, and because she tagged you, I could see it. So I was just like, that's how I was getting my updates.
Yes. And that's how I think everyone was getting updates, because I didn't update it at all.
Yeah. I was just like, I was so concerned about you. And like, you were just, there was a lot of stress happening.
It was very stressful. I was the best Spanish speaker in the family that was present. And so I was doing all this translating, even though I'm not actually like, I'm not fluent, and certainly not fluent in medical terminology. So I did have the help of Google Translate, which, by the way, is an excellent app. And I used it a lot.
Yeah.
But I also just spoke as much as I could and tried to just really tried hard to make sure I was understanding things correctly when it came to things that the doctors were saying. And it was extremely stressful to be in that position. So I actually have a friend who is also your friend who came down to Mexico to help and to actually translate. And that is our friend Kelsey, who's been a guest on the show.
Yeah. Miss Cringe Purge herself.
That is right. The one who has her own stories, which I'm sure she can add to after this experience. But she was like, would it be okay with you if I came down there? And I was like, oh my gosh, I started crying. I was just like, that would be amazing. Yes, 100%. Please. That would be, I just couldn't really believe that she would offer to even do that. So she like bought herself a ticket and showed up. And then she was the one who was there to translate for all of the really important medical conversations, like with the surgeon at the hospital, all of that. And that just took that load off of me. And it was so amazing. It was so amazing that she did that. And so she has now become a part of my family. She's adopted by my family and considered my sibling now. According to my family, they're just they absolutely love her. So that was really special. So there was like really cool things that came out of it, but it was an extremely stressful time. And I was gone for a month when you add the first vacation piece, and then just how long everything took, because one thing led to another, and then we had to wait for like biopsy results and things like that before proceeding, and then there was some like post-operative time. Like my dad ended up having a laparoscopic partial gastrectomy, which is a pretty major surgery, and so he was in the hospital for a few days after that, and then he needed a few days to recover after that, and so on. Anyways, so I ended up leaving before they headed back to Belize, but my sister was still there with them, and so I felt like I could get back to my family here, which was also, missing me and where I needed to be, and so it was good to come back. Although in some ways I felt like I left a little bit too early, but they're fine. And actually now my dad is feeling a lot better since having surgery. He's unfortunately got a cancer diagnosis, but he's feeling a lot better and he's in good spirits. And so he's making some lifestyle changes, and I'm just really happy we have more time with him, because he definitely could have died and would have died had we not taken action like quickly.
Yeah.
I mean, it would have been better even before that, but at that point it was totally critical. So, so yeah, it was kind of like this whirlwind, and it felt like there was obstacle after obstacle, just because it wasn't easy navigating and this medical system that we're not familiar with, totally new city, like finding where all these appointments are, and then just all of it. It was just like, and then even like getting the permit for the vehicle to come through. And it was just, it felt, and then like getting blood transfusion. At one point I was sitting in the car with my brother with a cooler of blood, I should say 2 like units of blood from the blood bank that we were transporting to the clinic to be administered to my dad. But we're just like driving around with him in the car. It's just so different. But I do have to say the medical system in Mexico is pretty great. And he got excellent care. And I feel like it was a learning experience that was, good in a lot of ways. But man, I was really tired when I got home.
I know. When I saw you the first time after you got back, it was like...
Which was like last week. I saw you last week.
Yeah.
And
You
was
were
like
drained.
Yes.
You were drained.
And I don't feel like I've like fully recovered yet. I mean, there was also a lot of additional stress on top of it, just having my family be together after, living our separate lives for so long and under a stressful situation. It was kind of like a pressure cooker. Like, you see people here and there throughout life in small doses, and it's fine. You don't, if you... if you disagree on something or whatever, it's not a big deal because like you just carry on with your life.
Like hanging out for the weekend. And
you're like,
okay,
bye. But we were like 24/7 in the same house under highly stressful circumstances. And so it was challenging in a lot of ways. And I feel like it sucked all my energy. Like,
oh, absolutely.
And let me just say, that Mexico, where we were in Mexico, it was like hotter than it was in Belize. It was so stinking hot. Like it was so hot. It's the peak of the dry season. It's the peak of the hottest time of year. And we were in downtown like city, just baking. We were just baking. And fortunately we had air conditioning and we did have a little pool at the Airbnb we were staying at. And so we were fine.
Yeah.
But
it doesn't mean it was comfortable.
It was very hot. And I think that is also draining.
Yes.
We kept buying so much water. Like I couldn't believe we'd be like out of water every day. I'm like, we just bought all these gallons of water and they were gone.
Yeah.
Because everyone was just drinking
so hot
water because we were so hot. But
speaking of hot, is my air conditioning broke. Now this is where we go back to the corn kernel in the tooth. Okay, I realize this is not life and death.
Yes, what's going on?
Well, what happened? Because you're talking about AC, it made me think of AC, and we had a little bit of a heat up here, like last week or something. It was like it went from like the 60s to like the 80s, 90s.
Yes,
and it was drastic.
I loved that.
And on Friday, my air conditioning was not keeping up, and I was like, oh, it's probably just because it's it just switched over, blah blah blah. No. Broken. Saturday, broken. So it was it was like over 84 degrees in my house.
Yeah, it's warm.
For me, Jayme, like I'm always worried when you come over because I keep my house at 68 and you're a hot person. And so I'm always nervous, like, oh, I probably need to get her like a blanket at my house because like I like to keep it between 70 and 68. Anyway, so it's like I'm at this point I'm just laying down. Well, I had to go to a thing, like I went to go see a local theater production, and my air conditioning in my car's broken.
Wait, what?
Double whammy. So
You're kidding
there's
me.
no reprieve. And then I walked outside for a little bit, and then inside was, at least it had some air conditioning, but midway through the show, air conditioning goes out.
So why does this happen? Why does this happen at the beginning of, like, it seems like there's like multiple. I mean, I was just at a place yesterday where the air conditioning was broken. Why is it breaking at the beginning of the summer?
I don't understand it.
Is it because it hasn't been used all winter?
I don't understand science like that. Okay, I don't know mechanical engineer of why.
Well, it feels like they fixed it. It doesn't.
Well, yeah, but I had to live all night Saturday, so it was like when I was sleeping at night in my home, it was hotter than it was outside, and it was like still 78 outside.
Did you have fans? What
I
did you
had fans on me, and it was horrific. Like the fans are making me my allergies like kick in, and it was just like awful.
No.
And it was like 2 nights of that, and then like finally they came and fixed it on Monday. And I understand this is a very like first world. There's bigger issues in this world.
Yeah, we're not comparing that.
But I felt that when you were saying like it's just so hot that it's like oppressive, and it's just to the point where it's like all I can do is lay down. Like all I can do is drink. I kept eating popsicles. I went to Yolks and I bought like a bunch of like popsicles.
Yeah.
And I'm just eating popsicles, just not moving. And it was just like, somebody's like, you can come to my house. You can come. I'm like, thank you. I appreciate that. But it's like, what am I going to do at your house on a Sunday afternoon? I want to lay down and watch TikToks and be awkward, not like engage socially. So I took the coldest shower of my life because I was the only way I could get cooled down. Yeah, that was my trauma and my drama. It was just air conditioning, which I can't even imagine. Here's the thing. When you're talking about like the logistics of everything that was going on with your dad, because you had to go from Belize to Mexico, from city to city.
Yes.
And there's a bunch of you. And I'm like thinking about it, I'm like, everything with your dad, horrible. He's going through a lot. But you also have a caravan of people, and you have to think about how are we going to feed them? Where are we going to stay?
I know.
Where's
I know.
Where's the toilet paper? Because I heard about from Kelsey that you got to be careful in Mexico where, make sure you have that toilet paper with you. So it's just like, that's a lot to deal with.
It really was. It really,
on top of like the medical crisis.
It really was. And then it's not just simple. Like nothing's familiar. So you go to, you find a store and then none of the products are familiar and everything is in Spanish. And you're looking for specific things that you're used to or that you're wanting, to feed your dad.
Yeah.
And it just felt like we were on The Amazing Race Medical Emergency Edition.
Horrible.
With now this is your obstacle. Your next challenge is that is literally how I felt.
Oh my gosh. We laugh, but I'm not even sure. I could see in a few years somebody like, that's a great idea. And they have some horrible, get all of your medical bills paid free if you go from destination A to B and survive, awful.
Right. I would consider going to Mexico for a medical procedure, though, if I was put on a wait list or something and had to wait. Because if you can, and it's cheaper, but if you can afford to pay for it or if you had to pay out of pocket, it's so fast, at least in the experience that we just had. It was just so fast and it's so different. I was texting back and forth with the surgeon and with all the doctors, over WhatsApp. It's just very different, just asking him questions and he just responds. And it's just, there's no middleman. There's no insurance no HIPAA. Absolutely not. I'm just giving people my phone number and my mom's or whoever's phone number for WhatsApp for them to just send the results. They're like, sure. They just WhatsApp you everything and then you have it. And then I was sending that all over the world because I was networking, making sure my dad was getting good care, which he was. But, people I have family members in medicine and just wanted to know what their take was on some of the results and stuff like that. And I could just send it to him. I could just send it to him instantly without any issue.
As many issues as there are in the world, which there are a gajillion, this era of time, it's kind of amazing when it comes to stuff like that. Yeah. Accessibility as far as information, resources, whatever, or even just being able to communicate quickly with people is so different.
Totally.
I'm happy to hear he's feeling better.
Yes.
And I'm so happy that you're getting some rest. You do look better from the last time I saw you.
Thank you.
Not that you were haggard, but
I probably was because I had no makeup. I did not wear makeup for a month.
Yeah.
Which it's not I need makeup, but I am. But it does.
You're a girly girl.
I like makeup, and I feel I feel different, or I feel more put together, whatever you want to say. I think I probably wasn't wearing any, and just. I was just totally depleted, and I still feel pretty depleted, but I have gotten back into some of my routine and rhythms and stuff, and so that's good. And that's giving me more energy. I went dancing this weekend.
Of course you did. How many hours? What time? Was it till 2 a.m?
Fun. It was till midnight.
Of course. Uh-huh.
Yeah. Actually, we went both nights. We went Friday and we went Saturday, and it was really fun. I mean, it didn't help me in terms of not being tired physically
but mentally 100%.
Yes, just having a break as far as just doing something fun. That was fabulous. So
oh my gosh, well,
and I'm going again this weekend,
of course. Well, we'll have to pencil in goat yoga. You have dancing and goat yoga. I think those are the cures for tiredness.
I'll try it. I'm very curious again if there's wine involved, and also if there's only 2 goats, how many people are, I don't know what to expect. The little picture, it was it looked like a goat was standing on someone's back or something.
Yeah, therapeutic.
What?
If you're enjoying the podcast and would like to support the show, you can share episodes with your friends and family, follow us on Instagram at the Geriatric Millennials, or leave us a positive review and rating, all which help us to grow. Our theme music was created by the Finley Ghosts. Check out their latest album now. Thank you so much.